Yeah, so let me say something that I might have to apologize in a future episode.
Next season.
I hope people don't take this the wrong way, but I know that the view of LA is like really picture perfect hot gay guys, but there are plenty of personality Gaysians. I mean, I have friends I would consider.
Good friends that are ugly.
No, the personality Gaysians of LA.
Personality.
Okay, let's move on. Move on. Okay, I can't keep
Move
going
on to what? Oh my god.
Literally Gaysian.
Literally Gaysian.
You're listening to Literally Gaysians, the podcast where two gay Asian guys get real about their feelings and literally Gaysian stuff. I didn't say the word this time because I want to get on the good graces of YouTube.
Yes, I mean, we make no money on YouTube.
Oh,
but
okay.
You never know. This is your host, Bao. I'm Bao. And Chris, who just survived an earthquake. Congratulations.
This year has been doing too much because I looked at the alerts on my text messages and I apparently slept through the earthquake and through both the tsunami warning and the rescinding of the tsunami warning. This is the life of a newly unemployed person, this sleeping through world phenomena.
You know what? On the bright side, if you do experience a tsunami right now, it'll be a great TikTok.
Just filming as I'm drowning.
Today, the topic for today is apologies. Sorries. All right, so if you follow the news at all, podcasters get in trouble a lot. They get in trouble a lot for things they've mindlessly said on podcasts because there's an hour to 90 minutes to fill, and these rants are enshrined in internet memory forever. And let's say we made a mistake or two.
Or 3,
and we were at
or 10. And mostly, we just stumble through making plenty of these. So many. And, I, as a good person, am not above apologizing. About
growth.
I think this episode, we're 33 episodes in. And
that's wild.
It's, I imagine about all the things that we've said, have said. And people always come up to us saying that how much they appreciate our rawness and how unfiltered we are. And when they say that, I'm like, oh, that's great. And then I'm like, oh, God, what if I said something really stupid? And it's going to come back to haunt us. And so we are now in our accountability era.
Accountability, 100%.
Otherwise known as, oh, shit, let's not get canceled era.
No interest in getting canceled. I wish we could be like the dumb straight guys who voted for Trump and get by life saying the stupidest shit, but no, we want to do better.
We're both unapologetic, but also right now, just today, very apologetic.
Yes, the vibe is very apologetic, and we're just going to jump right into it.
Okay.
Here are the things we're sorry about, and they're going to be a bunch of things like from the podcast and not from the podcast. So the first thing I want to personally apologize for and say sorry for, I, Bao Nguyen, personally, humbly apologize for yelling at you and all my friends in Puerto Vallarta for buying Ozempic.
Oh, God. You not only are apologizing, but now outing me.
Granted, you all have serious body dysmorphia issues, so let's get that out of the way. We all do. But it's your body, and you should be able to do whatever you want with my support and without any of my judgment. And let's backtrack. We got to explain what happened. So last month we were in PV for too long. We were in PV forever.
We were going to record a whole episode there. But
we never get to do it. We never get to it because we're either too busy, too drunk, or too high.
Yeah. But keep going.
There's too many people around. So wait, why were we actually in PV for so long?
Oh my God, we were celebrating everything. We were there for 11 days celebrating our good friend's birthday, 40. Hi, Jeremy. I know you're listening.
Hi, Jeremy. You're listening. And by the way, PV is Puerto Vallarta. But whatever. Moving on. So it's his 40th.
And it was really great. We spent his 30th and 35th, so it was a nice, great return. And then to follow up with it, a beautiful wedding of Michael and Kevin. And it was so, it was just like a very dreamy wedding, but it was 11 days of Puerto Vallarta.
Yeah. And before we continue with this story, you get to realize the texture of raw life, the slice of life. I am like dog sitting my boyfriend's dog right now, and he's going wild. So, Nelson, come here.
And you know what's lovely about that?
Sit.
Is that I know you don't like dogs. Sit. So I
think it's such
dogs. I feel like you don't like a lot of animals.
Wait, no, that's not me.
Okay, I am also sorry for putting words into Bal's mouth.
No, I know who that is. That's Joshua. Wait, please. Go in your place. Nelson, go in your place. Place.
I think this was my last sexual encounter. Go in your place.
I know. That's how I like to be treated. Thank you, Nelson. Okay, so we were in PV for a birthday.
Mm-hmm.
We were in PV for a birthday.
Then the wedding.
And a beautiful wedding.
Mm-hmm.
And the one thing about PV, aka Puerto Vallarta, is that there's pharmacias everywhere. Pharmacias.
Every third storefront is a pharmacia. And everything is available. Human growth hormone, Xanax. If you can think of it, they have it. If you can't even think of it, they have it. They have everything that under the sun.
You just need money. You don't have to have a prescription to get any of this. And so for years, being the childless gay shits that we are with disposable income, I don't like to do it, but a ton of my friends. I mean, I bought a Cialis bottle just for fun. That probably didn't work, so I got a bad bottle. But mostly people have bought Cialis, Viagra, mostly Xanax, tretinoin, mostly Xanax though. I think Xanax was high on the menu, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But this year, Ozempic was on the menu.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And I think most of us would have been like, whatever, until our friend Josiah, my ex, showed up to PV looking snatched. And I'm like, you look like you lost weight. And he's like, Ozempic. He's a nurse and figured out a way.
Too. I didn't realize. I thought because he has like 5 days a week off at a time. I was like, damn, she's working out hard. I was like, I just kept thinking, oh, wow, Josiah's close to my age. And I was like, God, I must be just doing something really wrong. I don't have the fortitude. Look at him. He's doing it. And then same conversation. I was like, this bitch.
Ozempic, there's ways to get on Ozempic when you don't meet the requirements, because there's ways to get ketamine if you don't meet the requirements. There's ways to get Molly now, prescription wise, if you don't meet the requirements. So he figured out a way to get it. I have a bunch of, I live in LA. Like a good portion of my office is on Ozempic, and they were not diabetic or et cetera before. But when I saw him and when people realized like, oh, he just for 6 weeks got that thin, I think one person was like, well, Ozempic's available here and I will try it. And then slowly through the weeks, another person was like, oh, yeah, the way you talk about it, I'm going to go buy it too and try it. And by the end of just even the first weekend, I felt like the whole group had like been all in on, yeah, we're just going to be on Ozempic. And for some reason that like made me so mad.
You were livid.
Livid and angry that I was just ranting at you all day. So first of all, I'm just kind of like, we all could just agree to age and get fat, which I thought we were all agreeing to do. But now I think I'm okay with one of you doing it, but everyone's doing it, then I'm just going to be the one left out having to try to lose weight in the healthy way.
I think there's something about being in PV that reduces your guard. Like I wasn't big on
drugs.
Yeah. But, in my house, one person talked about it. He was thinking about it for himself. And then it put that idea in my mind, and I became a proselytizer. I'm like, did you see it? It was, and then we started going to stores. Oh, it's 300 here. Oh, but it's 200 here. And then we're going to cut the pills in half because I'm cheap. And then we'll take it that way. It drove me insane that how much I was thinking about it there, because it's vacation life. I think it's that being a vacation life, the access. And I just went deep in. I think I was probably one of the people who got like another 5 people interested in it.
Yeah, and I thought about it. I'm like, should I do it? I'm like, I don't think I want to. One, I may want to later, and mostly because I think it took me a while to like accept that this is my body and this is my metabolism. So
I know it's been a journey.
It's been a journey, so it took me a while not to loathe myself, and so I'm not gonna jump in again.
And then here goes all your friends. Like, I'm going on the Ozempic train.
Yeah, like I was like, fuck y'all. You're making everything worse in the gay community. But I realized when I got home, upon further reflection and talking to my boyfriend, I realized this is not my body. You get to do whatever you want. It is not my choice. I don't need to walk around shaming you or building a deeper well of other shame in addition to the body dysmorphia you already feel.
Isn't that much like his previous advice where he's just like, let people like things?
Yeah, let people like things and let Asian people be bad at things. Anyways, I should be supportive, or at least not making it become comfortable for you. So for that is my first apology. I am sorry for yelling at everyone in Puerto Vallarta for getting,
including me. You were mad at me.
I was mad at all of you. Well, I was mad at you because, girl, bitch, you're still unemployed. Why are you spending money on that?
Because if I'm going to be poor, I want to be poor and hot. That's like been like my like ongoing. If at least let me have one thing. But
fine.
I joke, I kid, but also I don't.
Yeah. So you know what? That's why I am sorry.
You know, loathe us in private. Loathe us in private in your own time.
Yeah. Okay. What are you sorry for? You're up next.
Okay. You know what? That reminds that I guess I'll stay on the same. I am sorry that I sometimes play into my friends' body dysmorphia at meals so that I can eat their leftover food.
What?
Like,
what do you do?
Like, sometimes, like, you know, we'll go to a restaurant and there's like food that I really want that somebody else ordered. And they might say, oh, I'm so full. I'm like, yeah, you shouldn't eat it all. Like, you know, it's like and if I like know that they have like some like drama with their body dysmorphia, I'm like, yeah, you know, we're all trying to get skinny. And so there'll be extra food and I'll finish it. It's something I've done for many years and I'm not proud of it.
Have you ever done it to me?
No.
I always finish my food.
I just reach over and eat your food off your plate without asking usually.
Yes, that is a very...
Maybe that's another problem. I'm not sorry about that too, but I am sorry about that also.
I know you don't. You do the little like, like that. Well, you try to be cute about it.
I learned that from Maverick. The little fingers. Okay. Oh, but then. Oh my God. Can I tell you another story?
Is that related? Okay. Yeah.
Yes. I think I'm sorry to myself about this. When I was really young, I once dated somebody, and I was young, so I was slowly getting into shallower and shallower into my gay life. And I was afraid that the guy I was dating was going to get thicker than I'd like. And, you know, we shared food all the time. We eat off each other's plates. And I would eat more off his plate so he would have less food, so wouldn't, you know, to keep him fitter. Isn't that shitty?
Yeah, I guess you do like the twinks.
So, but
sorry.
after a bit, I learned it backfired.
How?
I gained a ton of weight eating all that extra food. I was like, it was like 6 months to a year later. I was like, what the fuck? He's like all skinny, and I am like, I gained a lot of weight during that time, and I knew why. I knew exactly why. So I'm sorry to myself, but I'm sorry for being so shallow.
I can't believe you did that. It is pretty fucked up.
Yeah.
But I'm glad you have done the reflection and did the work.
I mean,
and you're holding 20s. Space.
Mm-hmm.
You're holding space for what you've done. So yeah. I am proud of you for admitting that.
Yeah. I can't believe I did, because now what are people going to think of me? I'm going to stay single forever.
All right, so let's go on to the things we're sorry about that we have said on the podcast. I can go first. Is that a fan that you're holding now?
Yeah, I got hot here. It's let living in this rent-controlled apartment, the people, when they run hot water, like take a shower, it just heats up my whole apartment. Free heating, but girl, it is hot here. I'm hot.
Oh, just because you're on Ozempic, now you're feeling yourself. Anyway.
Girl, on this Ozempic. Oh, FYI, backtrack. I'm 2 weeks into it. I've gained weight. My scales shows me having gained both like 5 pounds of weight that I'm usually not around and fat weight. So yeah, that's where it's going right now.
Have the other guys lost weight?
Like 1 or 2 people have. But it's also only been
6 weeks.
It's been 6 weeks.
6 weeks.
Dang.
It's December. Oh, 4 weeks.
Yeah. And so I guess some people are on it for 3 weeks now, 3 to 4 weeks.
Okay.
But I'm not worried.
Okay, whatever you're working toward, I hope. Yeah. Okay, so back to the topic. All right, the things I'm sorry for staying on the podcast. There's only one.
Just one?
Just one for now.
Okay.
I am personally sorry for calling Emmett the youngest guest on the podcast.
Oh.
That is, as one listener put it, Aiden erasure.
Oh my God, Aiden. He was a baby. How did we forget about him? It was also early.
No, it was early, yeah, but it was my bad. So backtracking. A few episodes ago, we had Emmett Chan, right? Emmett Chan on the podcast for our Emmett Chan Ren for our episode Hot, Young, and Trans. And he's 26 years old, and I was like, this is officially our youngest guest on the podcast. I literally believed it.
And so did I.
I know. We committed. And it wasn't until a few days later when Nuri, who is a host or co-host of the Why Won't You Love Yourself podcast, he responded to the description for the episode and said, "This is Aiden Erasure." Which
is hilarious because, they're friends and live in the same city and knew.
Yeah.
Dang. He went through enough. Aiden went through enough.
I know. And then only to have us erasure this one achievement, actually. Esteemed achievement that he's achieved, which he is actually the youngest person or youngest guest who has ever been on a podcast. And so for those of you who haven't heard that episode, so it was in season 1. Aiden was in 2 of our EDC episodes in season 1. And I believe he was around 23 at the time.
22, I think.
22, 23. I don't know. I may have to come back to another sorry episode where I apologize for getting his age wrong, but I am pretty sure he was younger than 26. He is actually the youngest guest that's ever been on this podcast. I just felt so bad.
Yeah. And I loved his youthful energy.
His youthful energy and the interesting lens that he brought because of that, of the generation he's part of. Anyway, I know Aiden used to listen to this podcast. I don't know if he still does, but if you're listening, Aiden, I'm sorry, particularly after all the drama that you went through for being on our episode and being on our podcast. I could have at least
got something right.
So I, bound and personally apologize to you, Aiden, for that erasure. You are officially the youngest person who's ever been on the podcast.
Now, what does Emmett got going for him now? It's no longer the youngest. Wait, is he the first trans person that we know of? Not like it matters.
Yeah.
We still love you, Emmett, for being on our podcast.
Yes, thank you, Emmett.
That you're not the youngest anymore. There's someone hotter and younger than you.
Yes. We just think anyone younger than us is like the youngest person ever. Every day.
Everyone young is just super young. They're all the same kind of young and going to overtake us.
Yeah, and it's weird now to meet people who are young and they're actually part of our millennial generation and not actually Gen Z. I'm like, when does Gen Z actually start? But I actually do believe Aiden might possibly be actually Gen Z because when we asked Emmett, he was more like...
He was Gen Z, but felt more...
Zillennial. He said he was Zillennial. He's at the cutoff. Anyway, okay. Do you have anything you want to apologize for that you said on the podcast?
Oh my God. Not said, but what I didn't say or what I didn't do. God, that last episode that we recorded, I am sorry.
With Young
With
Me?
Young Me Mayer, I am sorry for not reading Young Me Mayer's book when she came on the podcast. We got a pre-release copy like 2 weeks in advance of recording, and I read
three or four.
I read the introduction page, and I want to blame it on the ADHD, but I can't blame everything on that. And I felt like sometimes during the episode, she was miffed. Like there were these moments when I think when I said something, I was like, during we had the video on, I feel like she was just staring me down. I don't know, Young Me, if you're listening, I was like, I'm sorry that I didn't read it. I'm illiterate. The best I can do is reading the notes beforehand that Bao gives me.
And on that, I am personally sorry for encouraging you to be upfront and transparent about the fact that you didn't read the book. I was just, we were prepared for that. I was like, you should just be upfront that you didn't read the book because
raw and unfiltered.
Raw and unfiltered, and she'll understand. Yes. And I thought she was miffed, but when I look back, she wasn't. She was just like going through it. If she doesn't listen, she doesn't listen to this podcast anymore. Maybe she does. If you are, we are sorry. And the reason why I want to say sorry to this because I have a friend who's a writer, and she is a published author. She listens to this podcast. A really, really good friend. I was like, "Oh, did you listen to the Young Me episode?" And she's like, "Yeah, on the part where your co-host didn't read the book, that is my worst fear." And she's like, "If you didn't read it and you pretended, I can work with that. But if you didn't read it and you tell me, there's no way I can work with that."
So I got a tip, which I wish I learned literally a week before from Jorge Oliveras, wonderful podcaster. And Jorge Oliveras, look him up. And hey, Jorge, he told me that he doesn't like to read the book before interviewing somebody, especially if it's a pre-release copy, because he wants to be on the same page as the audience. Being new to it, not knowing something beforehand. And so it's not like he knows more than others. And, I'm going to go with that. I didn't read it because I wanted to be on the same page as all of our listeners who hadn't received or bought a copy of Young Me's amazing and deeply feelings-oriented book, because I was thinking of our listeners, Bao. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to let you have that. Because I am sorry for getting you into this trouble where I'm like, please do that. Because I have a different perspective. My perspective is that we know our audience, and our purpose when someone's not here trying to sell their book is for us to read it and figure out the pieces that'll be interesting to get our audience to read the book and buy the book. That's why they're spending their time an hour and a half on this amateur ass podcast. But I love that episode so much. Yeah, it's one of my favorite episodes ever.
It's the reason why
she's amazing.
We have this podcast.
Yeah.
But I will say that because I didn't read it, and on my birthday, happy birthday to me, just a few weeks ago.
Happy birthday.
I turned 45. You're welcome. And I spent my birthday with friends. I bought 8 tickets months ago to see Young Me Mayer's show. And so for everyone who's listening, she's touring. She's doing a book tour and a comedy tour. Well, a show tour. Not having read the book, I was floored during the show because she talks about some of it, and I don't want to fully spoil it, except that I was bawling during the show. I was laughing and bawling because all of it was so new.
Yeah, you won't spoil it because you didn't read it. So. Bitch, you're not spoiling anything. You didn't fucking read it.
And it was so cute. I went up on stage and she was like, "I remember you." And I was like, "You remember that I didn't read your book?"
And what did she say?
She's like, "I remember you. We're just in showbiz. I'm pretending not to know you." It was really cute. She was gracious to me.
Oh, I love her. She's so nice.
Yeah.
And she literally played friend therapist for us during that episode.
Oh my God. I did not know we were getting a free therapy episode or like session.
I love her so much. Okay.
Yeah. All right.
Moving on. I have one last thing I want to be sorry for. Is it my last thing? Yeah, it is my last thing. The last thing I want to be sorry for. I am sorry for hating on Wicked after I saw the first trailer.
You know, actually, I'm on the same page. Go on.
Why? Because it really fucking changed my life after I actually saw it. It was so fucking good. When the credits rolled, I was with sorry, oh my God. God. Credits rolled. I was with Corey. Keep that in, Kyle. When the credits rolled, oh my God, I have to tell Corey about this. Okay. Corey was holding my hand through Defying Gravity because I was shaking and bawling during Defying Gravity. It was so good. Anyway, when it ended, I looked at Corey bawling and I'm like, I'm such a faggot. Like, it made me realize, like, I am just a faggot and let's just accept that. Like, that's the only reason I would be bawling my eyes out at the end. I just, like, felt everything Cynthia Erivo was selling me.
There was something else that I didn't realize that you felt like that because I had the same thing going to I watched it half a week after it came out. I knew that the reviews were good. I knew that on day 2 that it was like 99% like good reviews out there, and I still wanted to hate it because I hated the trailer. Absolutely hated it.
I hated the trailer.
It was so bright and happy, and I was like, what is this? And I'm not like a Wicked aficionado. I enjoyed it. I know it is part of gay culture. It's been out 20 years, but it just looked bad. And I felt like this was going to be one of those.
So bad.
I thought it was going to be one of those moments where I was like, oh, when we were talking about, we got to support gay movies or a gay or an Asian man directing a movie. We got to say good things only, but even though we don't like it, but I was wrong in a good way. We were wrong in a good way.
Yeah, I agree with you on the trailer. When the trailer came out, I'm like, this looks like a video game. Like, am I playing am I playing Mario Party or am I watching a musical movie? And it's like every Hollywood movie where everything's just so CGI that it looks like a video game. So the CGI was egregious, and for some reason I just felt like that last like battle cry like note just felt super auto-tuned and processed for me. So I'm like, oh my God, this is gonna be just terrible.
But it was out of context. That's what it was.
They did that was a terrible first trailer.
Also,
it
came out so early. I just don't think that they were done with editing.
They weren't done with editing yet, or like mastering everything. I mean, I thought that was weird because I am such a huge Cynthia Erivo fan.
Mm-hmm.
She is literally one of the best singers in the world and performers in the world in this old way, classic way that I like, in this Kennedy Centers way that I like, because her cover of Alfie is just amazing. Required
so
gay viewing.
And the dress, she just sang so good. And then learning that she is possibly likely dating Lena Waithe. I was like,
she is.
Well, I mean, I don't think it's like official. People just say that they are because there's photos of them always together. I was like, we got a queer queen with us. Oh, yeah. And I love that.
And also, randomly, she's a Capricorn and I'm a Capricorn, and I just get it now. This is the
you
pursuit
are a
of perfection. I'm a fucking faggot. Anyway, so that's one thing. So like the CGI, the auto-tuneness of it. John M. Chu, proud that he's there in Hollywood, but like wasn't very confident that he could deliver because of In the Heights. Have you seen In the Heights?
The movie?
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't care for it.
I didn't care for it either.
But I also saw it in a bad I saw it at the AT&T Oracle Park, and there was all echo, and I thought it was just bad because the sound was bad, but I think it also was just kind of, there were moments that were good, but as a whole, I didn't love it.
Yeah, I didn't love it. So I didn't have confidence that he would be able to deliver something. And then when I saw Michelle Yeoh in the trailer, I was like, this is just her being her condescending matriarchal character again.
She blew it away.
She fucking nailed it.
Yeah.
I was like, I feel bad for shitting on the Michelle Yeoh presentation in the trailer because she just was so good in that role.
And that beautiful hair. They spent money on them wigs.
That updo was cement. It did not move. It was drag queened.
I'm just saying, Avatar, The Last Airbender, you got to steal their wigs. Steal their wigs because you need to learn about white wigs from Michelle Yeoh. Amazing.
I cried so hard, so I started talking about the Defying Gravity scene.
Mm-hmm.
It's me. Oh, it was like, and nobody. Oh, so in all of Oz
have been screaming that all weekend out loud. Just that it's me. I mean, it's clearly me. Not on in tune. Everyone's so annoyed at me this past weekend.
Wait, okay, I want to hear. Go ahead, finish it.
It's me. I can't do it.
Have you seen those TikTok videos of people trying to do that last note?
The battle cry or the me?
Yeah, the battle cry.
No, I haven't, and I'm chronically online.
Yeah, I'll send it to you. It's just like, and then people who can't sing. So I want to ask you, can you try to do the battle cry right now?
Do I do it the Cynthia way or the way?
Okay. Do Cynthia way.
This is hard. I will. This is one critique that I had, but I'm still working through it. I don't initially didn't love her version of the battle cry. I felt like
it was auto-tuned.
I felt like the note changes were the run just a little fast for my liking. And then I started listening to it more through the week. I'm like, oh, it's really growing on me. I mean, because everyone needs to do their own version so they can make it theirs. And something about like the build up that they did in the movie was so slow and beautiful. And then the battle cry seemed a little fast, but it's really grown on me a lot. I think it's just taking me some time.
Okay. Without further ado, as they say in Las Culturistas, this is Chris Young singing for Defying Gravity, Alphaba, the battle cry note. And here we go.
I'm going to step. Girl, my right AirPod gave out during that.
It's like popping silent. Out. It's like
it went silent because it couldn't handle me. You're the singer. I want to hear you. Just FYI. Backtracking. No. Beautiful singing Bao also sang at that beautiful wedding, and I think I also cried a little bit. I cried there. I cried at Wicked. I'm a crier now. I don't think I can say I'm not a crier. I'm a crier now.
Yeah, when I was singing, I looked out in the crowd. I'm like, why are people crying? It was great, but that was the funniest shit I've ever heard. That was so funny.
Did I not do it well? Did I not hit the notes?
You did it well.
I was giving it my Cynthia all.
No, you like closed your eyes and shit. Like you were so in your body in that moment.
I felt it.
I was floored.
And you know what?
And I love it's like a baritone version of it.
Yeah. And you know what I'm feeling now? The I'm Not That Girl from God. Wow, the way she gets into that low voice that many of the other Alphabas can't do was beautiful.
It was beautiful. And I think because she has a interest and like passion for gospel, you got a lot of little gospel notes in the way she sang the songs, like when she does like Look to the Western Sky, the way she sang that. Chef's kiss, so good. Okay, can we talk about that Oz Dust dance scene?
It's like the Wednesday, the Netflix show
when Elphaba comes in with the funny hat to the dance.
Mm-hmm.
I was bawling at that scene.
Oh yeah, well it's like the Wednesday where someone's doing something weird. When I don't want to give too much away, but yes, I cried hard during that scene.
I cried hard. Like Corey does not agree. He's like, the whole time he couldn't. He's like, why is everyone making fun of her? The funny hat when Bowen had those glasses on, which is a very Corey thing to say. But I was like bawling, and he was like holding me like a little crying faggot.
It was a good scene. Oh my gosh, I thought it was both cheesy, but it moved me. It moved me
to no end.
I think there's the sense of always feeling othered, which is like, the basis of the whole show. And I guess we just really related to feeling othered.
Enough about Wicked.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, I could go on with Wicked.
I know, but I want to get to your next apology.
What should I do? I am sorry to Sarah, who I went to elementary school with. And in elementary school, I slapped you.
Was Sarah a cis woman?
I guess so, yes. But this was elementary school. I was like, it's like 3rd or 4th grade. And I felt like she deserved some sort of punishment for insinuating that I was too girly. Yes, she was right. Maybe before we had the language, insinuating that it was a gay. Yes, she was going to be right. But also, I shouldn't have slapped you. That was violent. And, it just wasn't right. And you were right. But it was mean. It was the 80s. Yeah. But I'm still sorry about it. It's weird, like, thinking about these weird memories that I have that still haunt me. Like from like childhood, like I don't remember a lot of my childhood. I remember like when we were talking to Young Me, like you asked her, how do you remember so many things about your childhood? But when you like started asking me about, let's do things we're sorry about. Was that the first thing that like came up? Like I still feel bad about it.
No, that means it was sitting there for a while and you haven't been able to like talk about it. You haven't found a reason to talk about it.
It was like literally like 35 years ago, and suddenly I remembered it.
Wow! Did you get in trouble for it?
No, because I don't think it was something that we tattled about then, and I think she knew she was wrong for being a little bitch to me, and then I was a little bitch back to her.
Yeah, you were also wrong for laying your hand on her.
Yeah,
a woman, or just a person.
Anyone.
I know, but the fact that it stuck with you, I mean, it takes a lot of bravery to honestly say that and admit that. I have a similar thing that for some reason this memory brought up. There was in 8th grade a very effeminate guy in 8th grade. I think I low-key like made fun of him because he just seemed to be. So when someone say like some jocks who bully effeminate gay guys,
they're gay.
Yeah. Like I feel like he was gayer than me. That sounds bad.
But
he just was more gay presenting than me.
But I think that's a common thing of people roughly in our generation to do. Deflection.
I actually apologized to him later on in life because I ran into him and it was so awkward. He did not welcome it. He was like, okay, like I'm just trying to have a good day. You whatever, and I probably shouldn't have done that.
Yeah,
because it wasn't for him; it was for me.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was messy. When I look back, I cringe so hard.
Well, maybe he later on in life appreciates the apology.
Maybe, but yeah, this brings up that memory because I've never talked about that memory because it doesn't make me look good. It makes me look terrible. But like I'm looking back now, I realize like I was just going through something. It's a survival instinct.
Yeah.
And of course we wish that we were better people where our moral compass for good can trump the survival instinct. But unfortunately that wasn't the case.
And stupid in like kind of a shitty society. What's funny is like, I was thinking, have I done that before? No, I was the faggot little kid that everyone else called fag when they were trying to use that to hide their own gayness, because that did happen to me, but I wasn't fazed. I didn't really care because I was that gay and I guess that proud. And I knew those guys were going to be gay and they were. That's the funniest thing. I knew before they did.
Yeah.
I didn't throw it back at their faces. But if any of y'all listening, hi faggots. You're welcome.
Hi faggots. Hope you watched Wicked. Did you like Wicked?
I didn't call you out then.
Okay. Next segment.
Oh, we have another segment. Oh, go on. What is it?
Oh, girl, shut up.
Let me just
how
drink
about
to
that. A really quick, me too. Really quickly, things we're sorry, not sorry about.
A millennial term. Sorry, not sorry.
Sorry, not sorry. Demi Lovato. Is it Demi Lovato? Sure. Okay, I'm gonna start.
Okay.
Actually, I am not sorry for yelling at you all for getting Ozempic in Puerto Vallarta.
This
okay,
bitch. You just spent 10 minutes you apologizing to us about it.
So this is sorry, not sorry. So I said the sorry, but here's my not sorry. Again, y'all have serious body dysmorphia issues. Go work on that. It is your body. You should do what you want to without my judgment. But huge but. Sometimes it is really hard for a person who doesn't look as thin as a person. Wait, how should I say this? Hearing someone really thin and who literally has a six-pack and muscles say they hate their body verbally, it makes everyone else who doesn't have that feel like they should feel worse about themselves.
Yeah.
Like normalizing that, vocalizing that publicly perpetuates this toxic thing where we as gay men are just never going to be satisfied with our bodies.
Yeah.
And we will go through great lengths because we all have different types of bodies, different types of metabolisms, different types of muscle structures, go through like extreme lengths to get this ideal. It's really hard for me, this body dysmorphia. I just know the things that trigger it. Like I only allow myself like 5 specific thirst trap follows on Instagram. And if I want to follow someone, you have to get rid of somebody else.
Yeah,
because
I do the same. I do the same.
And I tend to like only follow thirst traps that I know have a completely different body type than me. Because they have a similar body type than me, then I'm like, well, they have a similar body type. Why can't I look like that? If they're completely different looking, then I'm like, that's just, your body's different than mine, and I can accept that they look good in this way. So that's one thing. And then the second is like, someone else actually told me, he's like, when I was complaining about my weight or the way I look or how old I look, they're like, you are complaining about it? Like, that makes me feel just worse because I'm not your body weight and I look much older. To hear you complain about it makes me feel like I should be feeling worse about my attributes, and I don't, and I have found peace with my attributes, right? And that just made me realize that it is your body, your choice to take Ozempic if you want to. The way you outwardly talk about your the way we as gay men outwardly talk about our dissatisfaction with our bodies and how we want to alter it, we have to just read the room.
Yeah. That's interesting the way you say that, because, there was a friend of mine, the way his body dysmorphia exhibited it was actually more than talking about his body. It was about, it would go farther to talk about the way other people looked. And I really hated that. And I thought, I'm not going to do that, talk about other people's body, just my own. But it's interesting to have that perspective. Like, it's still the similar. Me talking about mine around others can lead to the same kind of like feelings about like, just because someone's like not calling me, I don't know, whatever, doesn't mean I'm not feeling hurt when they talk about like their body. Because there's like people with conventionally like hot bodies that will talk about their issues, and I was like, oh, what about me over here? But there's this balance. Yeah.
There's a balance. I'm sorry about it. I'm also not sorry about it, because I'm sorry about it. It's like some people, the body dysmorphia hits them differently. Sometimes it's comparing themselves to other people. It took me a while to not compare myself to other people.
Yeah.
But my issue with body dysmorphia is for myself is that I compare myself to a skinnier version of myself that probably existed 5 to 10 years ago.
We've talked about this. I think that's where I'm at right now. I don't compare myself to other people as much anymore because I think I've not grown past it, but I've learned to like deal with it. But God, when those photos on Apple Photos, which sucks now, but the little widgets that come up of myself
10
from
years
10 years ago, I'm like,
Facebook, Instagram,
oh my
Instagram doing
God.
memories now. I don't need the memories. Actually,
It's like
keep the memories for your fucking self.
my own self is who's giving me the body dysmorphia. And it's like, I was like, oh, I'm the one making myself feel shitty and unintentionally.
Yeah. So I think we have a lot to work on. But yeah, I'm sorry. I'm also sorry, not sorry for yelling at y'all for getting Ozempic and PV. Not because you got it, but because of the way you talk about your bodies in this way. Like seriously, one friend, and we all know who, and you listen to this podcast. I feel like he literally wanted to lose weight so that he can go from a 6-pack to an 8-pack. And I'm bitch, are you competing for something? Well, I guess when you compete, you can't take Ozempic. Like for a body, I guess if you're competing for a bodybuilding,
you're competing for men. Competing for men.
Yeah. And we're
That's
at
what
40 or above.
is.
When will it stop? Are you gonna still keep doing this like when you're 50, bitch? You know, like when does this chase end?
I'm gonna chalk it up for myself that I'm a late bloomer. I actually didn't really think that much about my weight when I was younger. I was very happy with the way I looked, but as I said before, it wasn't until I started to hang out with like all my new gay Vietnamese friends,
like me,
I started to go, "Oh my God, am I like ugly? Am I?" It was something else.
I own my part in that. At that time.
But we're
coming
growing.
From LA.
We're growing together. Oh, I hate going to LA. That's why I don't think I could live in LA. Living here, I am actually like grown to really not even grown. I'm just around the dad bod. I'm like really into the dad bod. Not really. Some. It's part of what I grew up. It's because everyone says that, what's around you is what you grow to like, and it's true. And San Francisco, it's much more diverse in both body diversity, face diversity, everything, and I appreciate that about having grown up here.
Yeah, so let me say something that I might have to apologize in a future episode.
Next season.
I hope people don't take this the wrong way, but I know that the view of LA is like really picture perfect hot gay guys, but there are plenty of personality Gaysians. That was actually going to be a joke in a roast I was going to do, but someone very cleverly, and it's a listener, convinced me not to say it, but it's sort of like, I mean, I have friends I would consider
good friends that are ugly.
No, the personality Gaysians of LA.
Personality.
Okay, let's move on. Okay, I can't keep going.
Move on to what?
Sorry.
Oh my God.
To your. Okay, what's your sorry, not sorry?
Oh God. I'm sorry, not sorry, about always talking about my ongoing whole health on this podcast and to my friends. I know, half of it is funny, but half of it is really to like fight the stigma around it. And because if I had known at a young age about protecting my hole, I probably wouldn't have had a hemorrhoid blow up in the Apple Store bathroom where I was working at and destroy that toilet and turn it red. It was awful. I thought I was going to die. I didn't know what was going on. And if I had, practiced better whole health, because nobody talks about it, I think I would have done a little bit better. Now that I'm aging, there's like, less that we can do about it. Yes, I'm eating my fibers as much as I can, but there's other things around it. But I think it's also just people shy away from it. So I'm sorry, not sorry, that so many people have come up to me saying that they didn't know what a hemorrhoid was until I talked about it on this podcast, and that they had one and thought they were going to die until they just needed to go just a little checkup, just push it back in.
Someone literally told me that they thought they were just having regular issues or like random issues, and then listen to this podcast and be like, I might have a hemorrhoid. Went to their doctor, they had a hemorrhoid.
Yeah, and sorry, but maybe not a little bit, because I think I'm trying to get a whole doctor to come onto this podcast and talk about gay men's whole health, and what I'm sorry about is I'm going to probably proposition you to look at my hole. So we'll see.
Yeah,
we'll see how that goes.
This is probably TMI, but I feel like I haven't gotten a hemorrhoid, but like I do bleed a lot easier now.
Fissures. Not the DJ.
DJ anal fissures is the gay DJ. Yeah. And I actually found this, because my ex was a nurse, so he'd always has like a medical solve for everything, and he had these like suppositories, and I found this new they're not sponsoring this, but I found this new anal fissure suppository on Amazon. Basically it's like a bunch of natural things like turmeric. You have to leave it in your freezer, and you just like, after you bottom, you can just like push it up your butt.
Yeah, and turmeric, it's an anti-inflammatory.
Go to sleep with it in there.
Just put a little, nice. Do a little pre-preparation H on the daily or a weekly. You get a balm. Take care of that hole. The skin is okay. This is just going into all sorts of directions. Can I tell you another thing? This is turning into less sorry, not sorry, and just me like sharing everything because we've been drinking too much. The skin there is sensitive. That's why it has so many troubles. There are other sensitive skins all over our body. You know what I do? You know how like we got all into skincare in this last decade, and like I've been really working into it. Mm-hmm. I use that same like Korean skincare regimen on my groin area. The skin is just as sensitive. I want to take care of it. So like, I'll put a little serum on my hands and just scrape a little bit and like just go both ways.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I do wash my nether regions now with the facial cleanser because it's the most gentle.
Yeah. And you want to get that collagen like going. I want to treat my face just as well as my dick. And it's important. My flushable
wipes, I make sure it's the one with aloe. Get a little moisture into that pussy. So, and at our age, you got to just do upkeep. So,
even not at our age, there's those like insatiable bottoms. They need to be taking care of those holes.
Yeah,
it's a thing. So, to all of our insatiable bottom listeners, take care of your hole. Put some aloe on. Put some preparation H. Take an Advil. Put some turmeric in. I don't know what I just said.
You give a bunch of unqualified medical advice, but
I am not a doctor.
Let's all try. And we will get an official doctor, a whole doctor, up in this podcast in the future. Mm-hmm. But I do think we're running out of time.
Oh my God! Thank you for everyone for putting up with us.
I know we have a Be Real, but we're gonna save it for Patreon because those bitches pay to support us, and we got to give them something. And we have a really meaty Be Real coming up. So subscribe to our Patreon, and it's coming out this week if you want to listen to it.
Yeah. And, it's the holidays, so we're going to take a little break before we come back to close out the season. Not that you haven't already put up with our long breaks.
I know.
But Bao's a working girl. I'm sometimes a working girl.
But when we come back after the break where I just want to just take a break, and also I'm turning 40, so I want to focus on turning 40 and celebrating it. And I'm going to join you in the 40 club, don't you?
Welcome.
Not yet, bitch. 3 more weeks. 1 more week. 6 more weeks. Okay. When we come back, we're going to do a listener questions. We're going to take a listener questions episode. We're going to take your questions. So do you need advice on anything, something? Do you want a super unqualified perspective
Very
on your
unqualified.
Life? Mm-hmm. Is your situationship being shitty? Shitty-ationship? Mm-hmm. That's bad. Do you have whole questions? More whole questions?
I might have answers.
You have party problems? Do you have party problems? Or do you have an issue with us, both of us?
If you have any questions for us or about like whatever it is, send in those questions. And we're going to answer them on this podcast in the most unqualified way. So submit your questions. We got many ways for you to do it. You can even call us. Call us at 415-935-3379 and leave a voicemail. A voicemail. So old school, right? Once again, that's 415-942 3379.
3379.
And if you aren't a boomer, you could just DM us at Literally Gations on Instagram and TikTok or wherever. Find us. Email us. literallygations@gmail.com. We'll read it. We'll listen. And we'll shit all over your question and answer it as best we can.
So in the meantime, join us on our Patreon for more. Bye. Happy holidays.
See you next time.